Hey, good morning, Big Reds. This is Mr. Dockery. Today is Alumni Day in seminar class. I have a special guest, LaShaun Turner, class of 2011 from Muskegon. Got both her master's and her bachelor's from Michigan State University, I believe. Came home for a while, did some community service work. Now she's currently working in the Detroit area, doing the same thing. Hope you guys like the video and enjoy it. Let's go check it out. Miss Turner, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. First, I just want to say thanks for hopping on the Zoom with me. I talked to you a couple of days ago, and we kind of talked about what we were implementing at the high school this year in our curriculum with seminar. Mondays are a seminar day for us, and it's alumni day primarily for our 10th and 11th graders. And all it is an opportunity for our kids to connect with one of our alum, get to know a little bit about them, their experience as a Big Red, what they're doing now, and just hopefully they can give them some kind of advice as they transition into their adulthood, whether they go to college or they begin working or start with a family or whatever it may be. I guess we can start off with you just telling us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, my name is LaShaun Turner, and I did graduate from Muskegon High School. When I left Muskegon, I went to Michigan State University. I got my bachelor's in psychology, and then I went on to get a master's in social work and macro social work. When I finished with my master's program a couple of years later, I came back home to Muskegon, and I did a little bit of like community work, and I ended up getting a job with the city of Muskegon. And then I left the city of Muskegon, and now I am in Detroit, and I work for the city of Detroit. So I do government work, and it's specifically community development, where I just help communities develop themselves in a short way.
Okay, awesome. So you mentioned, you went to Michigan State, and, following graduation, you came back home and started working. So it sounds, and you're working in community service. So it sounds like you're big on community. When you finished at Michigan State, what drove you to come back home to Muskegon? Was it a passion to work in a community, or was it just, I was done with school, I need to find something to do, I'm gonna go back home until I get my life together?
Really a combination of both, because I was pretty young. I did finish school pretty fast. A combination of both, like where else I'm gonna go. But I think the main thing for me though is if I can't go anywhere and I don't know what I'm about to do next, I can always go home. And when I went home, it was the best thing I could have done for myself, because it's community. That's where my family is at. That's where I was raised up, and that's where I remember learning everything that's going to instill the roots in me. So going back home was both things. I had to go there, and I didn't know what else to do. And then on top of that, it was community. That's where my home was. Muskegon is home to me, and it had exactly what I needed to get to where I'm at right now. And I'm comfortable, I'm stable right here. I love it to death. But if I didn't have my hometown, Muskegon, and the things that I get from it, the community piece, then I wouldn't even be who I am and where I'm at today. I really believe that.
That's awesome. I think that that's so valuable for our kids to hear, because we tell them to go off to school and go to college and do this, but a lot of times we don't tell them to go back home. You hear the message, get out of Muskegon, leave Muskegon. But I'm a living witness. Like, Muskegon is awesome. Like every city, it has its deficiencies. But you mentioned community. I think it's a great place to raise a family. And a number of things. And I don't think we can ever lift up our community if we keep telling people to go to college and don't come back. I think that's the way you enrich the community, and that thickens the pot a little bit. The more people that go off and get certified and qualified and get polished up with education and things like that, then you come back and pour into your community, and that's the way you build it up. So I think you touched on some really good points with that. And so you said, obviously, you graduated from Muskegon. What year did you graduate?
2011.
2011, sweet. So 2011 graduate from Muskegon, Big Red. what does that mean to you when somebody says Big Reds or Big Red Pride? What is it? I mean, I'm sure you've attended many sporting events, and it's just our community is sports driven, and so you hear pride. What does it mean to you to be a Big Red? What does that exactly mean to you in your heart?
Honestly, off top, I'm proud, and pride is one of the first things that I hear, or what comes to my mind when I think of like, what does it mean to be a Big Red? Just recently, you guys played Cass Tech. Muskegon plays Cass Tech, and I'm in Detroit right now. Cass Tech is like around the corner from me. I'm talking to people around here, and I'm like, oh, it's a no-brainer. Like it's just embedded in me to be proud. Like it's a no-brainer. Muskegon go win. Now y'all didn't do that, but I still got my pride. And when you think about just being a Big Red,
go ahead.
Yeah, y'all, because I was going to bat over here for everybody. I know my school. Like, this is what we do. This is what's embedded in us. But even if it wasn't a game or anything, like when I was in school, when I was in high school, I was in a band. I was a cheerleader, and the band isn't always the coolest thing, but you be proud to be in a band. You be proud to do whatever you do. And that's what leads me to the other thing I think about when I'm a Big Red or being a Big Red is we persevere. Like we push through things, whether we like it, whether we don't, we always gonna get to where we gotta be. And I think the school and our community and how we just be around and when we at the sporting events or whatever we do, we gonna push through and we gonna be determined to get where we gotta go. And that's what I think of when I think of I'm a Big Red. I live and die by that.
I agree 100% with you. I came through the Muskegon public school system all my life. I went to Muskegon in 9th grade before I ended up leaving and going to Muskegon Heights and finishing there. Proud graduate, might I add. But I will say one thing that I love so much about Muskegon is the pride. Being here for the past 4 years, working in the district, there's a standard. And pride is included in that, and like you mentioned, being a Big Red, it means persevering and pushing through when times get tough, because they do get tough. I mean, let's be honest, we live in a challenging community, and oftentimes the light doesn't get shined on a lot of the positives, but there are a lot of them, but there are some negatives too, and I think being a Big Red helps you push through those things, and another compliment to it, I think, is our educators, our teachers, and our employees and stuff. They help deal and support with some of those issues that our kids deal with on a day-to-day basis. So I'm with you. Being a Big Red is being tough. It's persevering through whatever the situation at hand is, and that's the standard and that's the motto at Muskegon. I guess last thing, I won't hold you too long. This has been great. I think the kids will really enjoy this. What kind of advice would you give our young people as they transition through high school or come into high school and work towards graduation in their life?
It's funny, we talked about a little bit about, go, leave, go. I was going to say that, but that's not what I'm going to say at all, because home is where your heart is always. But I would say for teenagers and just thinking back to being in high school and thinking about how I feel like teenagers are now, number one thing is steer clear of comparison. I think we do a lot of comparison. It's a lot of social media nowadays. We see stuff and we think like, oh, I'm supposed to be here, I'm supposed to be there. You don't need that. Don't compare. And along with that, another piece of advice I would give is to bet on yourself and know yourself. When you spend all your time looking at the next person, thinking that this is that, you don't spend enough time with yourself, and you need to do that. Don't worry about what everybody else has going on or what they're doing. Of course, enjoy what's around you and love what's around you, but really spend time with yourself and know what you want for you. If you know what's for you earlier than later, until when you get out, when you do go and you graduate, you out in the real world, If you know that while you're in high school now, and you're not looking at the next person thinking, oh, I want to do what they're doing, this is what's going on, I feel like you'll be better off. If there were things that I knew, if I was thinking about it in high school, I would probably be 5 times more better than what I am right now. I really think it's important to really bet on yourself, know yourself. Do not compare yourself to other people. Don't follow all these social media trends. Life hits you in different ways, and you got to know how to deal with that. And that comes from knowing yourself, not from knowing what other people are doing. And the last thing I would say is ask questions. I don't think I asked enough questions in high school. I think I'm also someone that my mom would tell me a million things, or teachers would tell me a million things, and I don't remember because I didn't really think to ask more about it so that I would know what do you even mean by that, and how, why are you even telling me this? I just let it go in one ear and out the other. We have to be more attentive. We got to engage more, and we got to ask questions, because then we understand depth about things. And when we get out, when you leave high school and you get out in the real world, you'll already know why they're telling you these things, why they're saying this to you, because people like teachers and your parents and your family, they've been on this earth a lot longer than us, and they're not telling us anything to hurt us. They're telling things because they know what's going on. And if you ask them their experience behind that, I also feel like that's another way to know to do better when you leave out of that space. Enjoy high school. It's fun. You shouldn't have a hard time there. That's the best time of your life. Please believe me. You will enjoy that. That's pretty much it. I think y'all should just enjoy where you at right now and focus on yourself.
Thank you. You said one thing that I just want to touch on before we get off. You mentioned asking questions and being yourself. I think that's one of the problems our kids get into, is that they don't want to ask questions. Maybe out of the fear of it might be a dumb question, or they're embarrassed, or whatever the case may be. But I'll back you up on that. Kids, ask questions. We definitely should ask questions, because if you don't know, you must ask. That's the only way you find out. All right, and no question is a dumb question.
Right.
Yep. And just continue to have fun. I like that. Have fun throughout high school. Enjoy it, because you only get it once. I mean, college is a whole nother world. That's fun as well. But when you get older, you go back to your high school reunion and you look for those people that you grew up with and that you stayed nights over their houses and played sports with, and
no responsibilities.
Went to cookouts with and things like that. So enjoy it. Really enjoy it, because it goes by fast. You're gonna blink and you're gonna be a senior walking across the stage. Yep.
Right.
I won't hold you too much longer. I do want to thank you again for taking this opportunity to catch up with me, to share this with our kids in their seminar classes. Do you got any other last question, comments, or remarks before we log off?
No, this was fun. I thank you all. Thank you for asking me to come do this. If you all ever need anything, I'm available. I work from home, so I'm happy to help with anybody with whatever.
All right. And if you know of any other alum that would be interested, like help me build my network and connect them with me, I love to Zoom with them, or when we start in-person stuff, I would love to have somebody come in and talk to the kids in person.
Okay, yeah.
All right. We can't leave without doing this. All right. So on count of 3, I got to hear it. I shouldn't have to school you. You know what I'm going to do, right?
Go ahead.
1, 2, 3. Go
Big Reds.
See you later, Sean.
See ya.